The Scream Kings are in no way responsible for any encounters with the paranormal, extraterrestrial abductions, eldritch insanity, hauntings, hexes, curses, demonic possessions, cryptozoological sightings, or any loss of sleep from listening to this podcast.
Hi, and welcome back to the Scream Kings podcast. I'm NJ Gallegos.
This is Max George.
And I'm Rae Wilde.
Stop. Look, I may not be real, and you may not be who you say you are, and this entire existence might be a meaningless pantomime, but if you and I are going to be stuck here together, then I'm not going to let you defile that podcast one moment longer.
Everyone, give a round of applause for NJ doing a phenomenal English accent.
I don't know, but thank you. I appreciate it.
I think you did well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guys, it is another gay episode, and I'm so fucking... See how I said fucking and not fucking excited. Rae Wilde, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be back on the pod.
Rae, you are a fan favorite. You are a Max favorite. You and NJ and I are chaos incarnate, and I'm so excited.
It's going to be so good. And I would like to ask, are you wearing your silk robe right now?
I'm so glad you asked. Thank you. I'm absolutely wearing the silk robe. For anyone listening who's not aware of the backstory, I recently purchased a silk robe. It's changed everything about me. I'm now a lady of leisure. So please keep that in mind as you listen to the rest of this episode.
I do believe you need cabaret savranat. Okay, I just failed at my
What was that?
It was me trying to be witty and say wine names at the same time, and it did not go well.
I don't know how to say that, actually, to be fair. Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc? I don't know.
No, you just made fun of me for saying it, so I will not rescind that hatred.
Oh, I love it.
Wait, this is the second time you've been on, and usually when we have a second guest, we like to give you a title. We are the Scream Kings, so you can't be a king, because that's how the feudal system works. But would you like to be a duke, a duchess, a marquis, a marchioness? What is your vibe?
So I recently read a review that said I Can Fix Her cements Rae Wilde as the queen of evil lesbians. So I'm really vibing with that right now, and I'm almost feeling like I'm sort of an evil foil to the Scream Kings in this fantasy scenario.
All right,
Are you
everyone.
comfortable with...
Thank you for listening to this episode of Scream Kings. I hope you stay spooky, and we'll be back.
You're such a dick.
No, I love it, especially if I can marry my firstborn male to you and create a dynasty.
I mean, it's something we can talk about. It's going to be difficult as the queen of evil lesbians to kind of float that with my people, but like, let's talk.
It's also going to be difficult because the next time I see a vagina, I will vomit. So
some kinks to work out.
It's fine. Queer power. I love it. Scream Queen, Rae Wilde, please talk to us about your book that has just debuted.
Well, it's debuting June 3rd. It just debuted at my personal home because I received copies of it.
Rae, I read that as January in our notes. This is how gay I am.
So gay you can't read. It's incredible.
Oh my lord. Everyone, June 3rd. Get ready.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. It's like less than a month away. So I Can Fix Her is a sapphic horror short novel that is a little bit cosmic leaning, and the premise is, you get another shot with the one who got away, and it goes terribly wrong. And I like to describe sort of how I wrote the book as using nightmare logic. So if you think about sort of how reality operates within the context of a nightmare, that's kind of what you can expect from the reading experience.
I have to say, I love the title, I Can Fix Her, because I think I've said that more than once in my dating experience when I was trying to be straight. And
I want to know more about that.
What I intended is, let's transform one anatomy into another. So, please tell us more. How did you conceive this? What are your inspirations? Give us a plot summary. I want to know everything about this.
So, oh God, I have to talk about This Is How You Lose the Time War. It's my favorite book of all time. Okay, I will accept zero criticism on This Is How You Lose the Time War, and I've read it.
Twilight New Moon.
No.
Just
NJ, kick him off.
You can't. I'm the only voice of reason here.
So, sort of, I've read this many, many times, and, it's this gorgeous love story. And I was like, what if, we did an Antichrist version of this? What would that look like? So I started kind of thinking about that. And that was really the main inspiration behind the book, was just kind of like this, but the evil opposite.
You said so many things that I love. Antichrist, evil opposite, obsessed.
Thank you.
I don't want to make anybody upset, but I did give This Is How You Lose the Time War 3 stars on Goodreads. I'm sorry.
I'm quitting the show right now. Our future together as hosts of this podcast is over.
All right, everyone, thank you for listening. Stay spooky. We're here for the rest of the night. If you want to listen to me and NJ be gay.
No, but so the course of I Can Fix Her, it takes place over 1 week, and I think we've all had the experience where we were with someone, it didn't work out, but we're just compelled to try again, even though I think deep down we know that that person brings out the worst in us, and vice versa. And so it sort of plays with the idea of can we change? In what ways can we change? And what actually needs to change for a person to find what they're ultimately looking for?
Can I relate a situation where I feel like this may come into play? Oh my God. Okay, I was 4th grade, maybe 5th grade, and there was this kid in my elementary. I can't even remember their name. I'm sorry, past crush. I'm talking about you right now. I was so scared to sit next to him at the lunch table. He had his chicken fingers, I had my chicken fingers, and I just wanted to ask, hey, I see you. But he was obsessed with The Lion King 2, and so I watched Lion King 2 3-4 times in a row. And I fell deeply in love with Kovu. And
he's hot. He is very hot.
Oh my God. I started to associate this elementary crush with Kovu, and I don't know, it was one of those moments where I thought, I don't know if I like girls. But I'm in 4th and 5th grade, so let's not talk about this. And these chicken fingers are really good.
It always comes back to the chicken fingers.
Okay, but I have a direction with this. I want to ask the both of you, what was kind of the first moment where perhaps you thought you weren't, heteronormative? What happened?
Hmm.
Because I think the rest of the episode really hits on this, and I'm curious to get our experience.
I have a good thought on that.
Does it involve Kiara from Lion King 2?
Ironically, no, it does not. But I wish it did. Makobu is way hotter than Kiara, to be fair.
Oh my god, his black mane? Yes, ma'am. Okay, but tell us, NJ.
It was actually whenever my mom and stepfather sat me down and they were like, listen, Nikki, are you in love with your best friend? And I was like, oh my god, no. But
why is this giving Full House vibes all of the sudden? But not.
I wish I lived in San Francisco. My friend had a boyfriend, and I was very upset about it because I felt that he was not treating her correctly. Not the way she deserved to be treated, not the way I could treat her, but I didn't understand that, so I was like, crying about it.
Because he's a dick.
Yeah. So, and I was like, oh my god, no, guys, I'm not gay. And then I went to college, and I was like, oh shit, I was gay.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out.
I love it. Rae, how about you?
So oh gosh. I did not really think about my orientation much at all until like my mid-20s. Because I was absolutely hooking up with women, but I kind of just thought I liked to party, you know? I'm in recovery from addiction, so I was partying, and like, so I didn't give it a second thought. In hindsight, like, I was certainly very interested in the L word in high school, and I was like, this seems like something I should be a part of. But I didn't give it any serious thought until my first marriage to a man was almost over, and I was kind of like, I'm thinking it's gonna be a woman from here on out. I think I'm about done with this particular gender.
I get it, but opposite.
I didn't really introspect much about it until that point, which I know like isn't super typical, but
I don't think that matters. What is typical in kind of our experience, right? And I think we're gonna touch into that when we talk about Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Speaking of the L word, is that why you named Alice in your book?
No, so love Alice from the L Word, fantastic character. But Alice has always been like a name that stuck out in my head. It's like jumped out. I loved Alice in Wonderland growing up. There's all of these songs that reference Alice. And I don't know, it was also my grandmother's name. So it's just been like a significant name to me, but no, it's not specifically from the L word. If I was gonna write about an L word character, it would be Shane because yes, I was that cliche. I had one of those crushes on Shane. You know, when you have a crush in your adolescence and it's like crippling how powerful it is? That was me with Shane. I was like,
oh my god, you are so lesbian.
I know, it's a real problem. I still have a crush on her to this day. Like, I listen to her podcast. Anyway, we don't have to go down that road.
Okay, but Alice in Wonderland, is Alice gay?
I mean, we can't prove she's not gay, you know?
Yeah.
So yes, she is definitively.
I don't know. I'm just thinking Queen of Hearts, those creepy flowers. Cheshire Cat being like the devil and being like, hey Alice, you like pussy, don't you? I'm a pussy cat. Meow.
I'd like to see the version that you saw.
Take the Ambien that I'm on right now, and I will take you for a ride.
That sounds fun.
Rae, your book is coming out June 3rd. Where can we find it?
It's all the places that you can order books online. The best place for you to order for me and for my publishers through indie pubs. But you can find it just about wherever there are books. And I did hear that it's going to be stocked in some Barnes and Noble locations, which is really exciting. Yeah, this is my first book that they're picking up, so that's really cool.
Way to go, Barnes and Noble.
Yes, queen, yes.
Yes, hunty town boots, brah. I'd be a terrible drag queen, everybody. Okay, so there is a question in our show notes. NJ, Rae, I don't know if I can answer this question just because I don't know if I have the academic breadth to it, but I am curious, what are your favorite, like, lesbian media, lesbian horror, lesbian books? I think the closest I can get is the Circe book that just came out a few years ago. And anyone who reads that book and thinks Circe is straight is dumb, because she all about that women. So educate me, please. I'm curious as to what your experiences hold and what I can learn.
You get this one first, Rae. I have to think.
Oh, boy.
So hilarious that you just referenced, like, answering this academically because of what I'm about to say. I'm sort of a pervert when it comes to my media taste, so, like, I prefer
fan fiction. Hermione and Ginny get it at the Battle of Hogwarts.
Have you heard of porn? No, I just. So I, like, am sort of biased to dark lesbian fiction that's super spicy. So, for example, there's this book called The Wicked and the Willing, which I will not even attempt to pronounce the author's name. She's wonderful, brilliant, and I do not want to do her a disservice by mispronouncing it. But The Wicked and the Willing, great. Like, I don't know if we would call it horror. It's very dark, but very spicy. I think a classic is Sarah Waters' Tipping the Velvet, which I think, again, maybe more of a thriller than horror, but spicy, dark, delicious, twisty, beautiful at a prose level. And then we have, like, you know, some folks in the indie community are doing really awesome things with lesbian horror. Like, I'm thinking Sarah Tatlinger, Haley Piper, Emma Murray. There's so many. Linz McClaw does amazing lesbian horror and lesbian non-horror fiction. She just had a book come out called The Unlikely Pursuit of Mary Bennett. That's stunning. What about you, NJ?
Ooh, so as far as movies, the one that comes to mind is Jennifer's Body. I love that movie. Megan Fox.
That's our gospel, basically.
Yeah. Our holy trinity there. Jennifer's Body.
The holy texts. Yeah.
The major, the minor, and the clip.
And we know where to find it. Don't you worry.
You go, girl. I will not look.
Max has never been less interested in our conversation.
Oh, Lord.
Haunting of Hill House. Bly Manor, of course.
Oh my God, you're right. Wow.
Can we pause for a second? I read The Haunting of Hill House from Shirley Jackson for the first time, like, maybe a year ago, and I was truly screaming at how gay this book, like, that is a gay book. And I feel like the fact that I've ever heard a single person talk about it without talking about how in your face fucking gay it is. Am I allowed to curse? Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
No, you fucking can't, Rae. Good God.
I got retroactively angry at every person who's ever talked about The Haunting of Hill House without being like, this is the gayest thing I've ever read.
Well, you can't because it's America and gay is bad.
That's why I'm the evil queen.
Well, I'm white and I'm male, so I can get away with it.
Ew.
Oh, I did not like saying that out loud.
Sick. And then as far as literary, the one name that does come to mind, Cyan LeBlanc. Their novella, The Taste of Women, it is about a horror author who is a lesbian cannibal, and needless to say, shit goes down. Shut up, Max. You love a lesbian pun.
I love both of you.
Well, I guess, should we get to even gayer topics?
Oh my lord, you guys are gonna hate me by the end of this.
Who says we don't hate you already?
Sacre bleu! Yeah, Rae, is there anything else you want to push forward for your new book coming out? If you are listening to this, go buy it. Don't be dumb. It's gonna be amazing.
Just buy it. I mean, I think I did a good job, and I'm very funny and good looking, so you should make me happy and buy it. That's my official pitch. I'll be changing my Instagram bio to that.
If you don't, I will judge you.
And yeah, no, that's it. It's the silk robe guy. I told you. It's changed me.
It's turned you into a lady.
I need to get one of those.
Oh, you really do.
You'll never be a lady, NJ, let's be honest. You'll be in your silk robe and you'll be like, hey guys, it's me, NJ.
In my trucker hat.
I work in the ER.
I wear men like Muppets.
Oh, God. Oh, Nathaniel, you're going to listen to this and you're going to think we're deranged, and I don't care. Let's talk about the Black Mirror.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we couldn't choose one gay episode, so we had to go with 2 gay episodes of Black Mirror.
Yeah, we did.
So, you're welcome. Let's tackle quite possibly the best episode of Black Mirror ever first.
Okay, let's do it.
San Junipero. And, just an absolute masterpiece. Written by Charlie Brooker and directed by Owen Harris. Rae, do you want to give us a little synopsis?
Yeah, so San Junipero, it takes place in a not so distant future where folks can connect their consciousness to a virtual world called San Junipero that looks and feels very much like the real world, but in a different time period. And when folks pass away, they can choose to upload their consciousness permanently to San Junipero. So it's sort of like this virtual town that is populated mostly with people that have passed away, and then some quote unquote tourists, other people that are just sort of temporarily uploaded to visit there.
It is such a mindfuck. Yeah, that was fantastic. First question before we go to hard. How adorable is Yorkie? When they introduce her, I just wanted to squeeze her and just kiss her little cheeks because she was just so shy and cute.
She's so cute, and I'm so glad that you'll get this reference. She reminds me of Lara from The L Word.
Oh, she does.
All right, we get it. You two have watched The L
Max?
World, and I haven't.
You would love it. You would love
I know.
it.
I honestly, I just put it on my queue to watch. So I can't say anything, but I will.
Like, who's Shane?
Lesbians? Ew, but also, yes.
Yeah. But no, Yorkie is adorable. Kelly is so fun and sexy. I mean, they just make they play off each other perfectly. They were fantastic characters.
Yeah, they're just chemistry. You could feel it. Just the way they looked at each other.
Right. I'm not gonna lie though, and like maybe I'm jumping ahead to cons. It's not really a con because it's nothing against the episode itself. But Kelly, with her avoidant attachment style tendencies, did piss me off a little bit in some moments of the episode. Like, Kelly, we get it, but like, grow the fuck up a few times.
Yeah, how old was she before she did this?
She's like in her, if I had to guess, 80s?
Yeah, like 70s, 80s. I think she was 73. It said 73 on the headstone.
Keep going on the positive, because I'm gonna rip it apart, y'all.
Why are you the worst all the time?
Oh, it's because you love me.
I guess. I suppose.
Keep going. Let's go. I can take it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there was a lot of kind of, like you said, Kelly was being kind of a dick. And she was hiding from Yorkie in almost like different eras. Like she was hanging out in like the 2000s, listening to some Kylie Minogue and.
Kylie Minogue. Let's
what? You don't like Kylie Minogue?
No, I love her. Don't
Okay.
do that.
I was gonna get upset with you very much.
No, she's wonderful.
Yeah. But true love prevails. And that was one of the things that did blow my mind whenever I did watch the episode for the first time. But because you kind of see these characters, they're talking about like, my joints are bone on bone, but they're like 20 years old. So you're like, well, what? What's going on here? And you find out that Kelly has, I think, cancer, probably. And Yorkie is hooked up to a ventilator and she's a quadriplegic. And essentially they get like, I think 5 hours a week in which they're uploaded to San Junipero to spend this time together. And then in the real world, they're suffering. And it turns out that Yorkie's family is allowing her to just live as a vegetable. And Kelly heroically goes to California, marries Yorkie, and allows them to, it looks like, euthanize her, which, yeah, I mean, we can talk about that later. But I found that to be just very, like, it was beautiful. It was heartbreaking, but it was like the appropriate decision. So that to me showed true love.
Yeah, I think, like, for me, I rewatched it earlier today, and I think it's a lot about new beginnings and the longing that we often have to start again, to live more authentically, like more in line with the person that we feel like on the inside. So to me, like, even more than a queer love story, it resonated from the perspective of that. I think it's probably a nearly universal desire to think about what it would be like to like get another shot at youth as our most authentic selves, having learned who we are as we grow older.
True. That, like they say, youth is wasted on the young, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, my question, maybe we're jumping ahead a little bit, but would you say, like, right now you're most virile you, or would you go back to your 20s? Like, what would you pick?
Oh my god, I am the hottest I've ever been.
I mean, the silk robe.
I was just gonna say that silk robe is, I can see it from Utah.
I'm financially stable enough to own a silk robe. No, I wouldn't go back. I kind of mentioned before, like, I'm in recovery from addiction, so my 20s were not fun and chill. And I just think like I'm happier now. Like I'm happier with who I am. I understand who I am. I understand like my hobbies and what I like to do. And so I wouldn't want to like go back. And I can definitely understand folks that would, right, in a different situation.
I agree, Ray. I think there is kind of this weird line between people who have had a really like traumatic life experiences, and we have. I don't want this to sound like we're better than people who haven't, because that's not truth. That's not reality. But I am in a similar situation. Like, I got married to a woman and I had a daughter, and that daughter is the most perfect thing in my life and the best thing that I've ever done in my life. And so when people confront me about this and are like, well, did you want to be gay in your 20s? Should you have not been straight or whatever? It's complicated, right? Like, I would never take back the decisions I made, because those decisions, regardless if they were rooted in shame or guilt or insecurity or fear, they led to something that is so beautiful and so brilliant and so bright that I can't look back and say that was wrong. I did what I did with the knowledge that I had at the time. And now, as adults, we learn from our past and we take those lessons and we share them with others. And I think that is what is more important than looking back and saying, I could have done better.
That was well said.
Yeah.
Thank you. As I'm dealing with a custody battle, Max has cried endless nights to get to the point that I am at, but I mean it. I think queer people, especially queer people, we have this clarity that straight people don't, and I'm a little sad that Nathaniel wasn't on, because I wanted to ask him a lot of these questions of like, did you ever have to consider when you came out? Did you ever feel shame for liking girls? Did you ever have to shove down your emotions for liking girls? In a heterosexual point of view. And so what I think this Black Mirror episode did really well was kind of this option of A and B. I've lived my life A, so I'm now going to escape to what I really wanted, which is B. And that is kind of the Yorkie story and the tragedy of maybe not accepting it in option A. Sorry. Wow. I'm feeling a little emotional. Apologize. I know I'm kind of the comedic relief sometimes, but I think straight people need to understand that us queer individuals face those issues and put yourself in our shoes, right? And that's why I asked the question earlier. NJ, did you ever have to ask yourself, am I straight or am I a lesbian?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I actually did a few experiments where I was like, okay, let's just see if this time can I be straight? And then afterwards I'd be like, oh, that did not go well. That did not go well. I never felt like I wouldn't be accepted by my family or anything. But
Sure.
I think it's probably kind of the same thing that we all feel. You want to be quote unquote normal. You don't want to deviate from kind of the expected path.
Sure. And I would push back a little bit, because define normal, right?
Exactly.
In today, 2025, still consider heteronormativity to be normal. And I just want to challenge any of our straight listeners out there, heterosexual, cisgender listeners, especially in how America is going right now. Ugh. Like, take a step back and put yourself in the shoes of a queer person and how would it feel, and what you want to see in media, movies, music, shows, TV shows, whatever. Like, we exist, we're there. Don't ignore us and don't dismiss us.
Yes.
Yeah, well said.
All right. Let's lighten the mood. Sorry, everyone, for bringing us down into the crap world that we are living in.
What can you do? It is what it is.
Yeah, don't say that ever again, NJ.
It is what it is. What can you do? All right. I'll lighten it up a little bit.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
All right.
This soundtrack was killer.
Oh, I loved the music.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I read that Charlie Brooker heard Belinda Carlisle's Heaven is a Place on Earth, and he couldn't finish the episode until he had gotten the rights to use it because he knew it was so perfect for him.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and ironically, I had done errands and stuff today, and I was listening to 80s Pandora, and right as I pulled into the garage, that song played, and it was like, this is destiny that we were recording today.
Oh, wow.
NJ, who listens to Pandora anymore?
Shut up! I have curated that thing with so many thumbs up and thumbs down. It is perfect for me.
Are you the only one supporting its app presence right now?
Probably. I don't pay for it though, so.
So no.
So no, not really.
Rae, how about you? I know the music spoke to us, but what really spoke to you?
Oh, I think that setting it in the time periods that they did, which was 80s and 90s for anyone who hasn't seen it, and that sense of nostalgia really gets at something that for me is a larger theme of the episode, actually of my book. I think also of the other Black Mirror episode that we want to talk about if there's time. I realize we're talkers. But
shut up. There's time. Don't even worry about it.
For me, nostalgia is sort of a longing for something that you cannot return to. And I think that it's mostly a fantasy of a time because in reality, things didn't feel the way we feel about them when we are recollecting them nostalgically. Blockbuster is a really big one, and I'm not exempt from this. I'll think about going to Blockbuster Video and renting movies and feel very nostalgic about it. But in the moment, it's impossible to ever have that longing satisfied because nothing feels that way in the moment. And I think there's something to be said about the similarity between nostalgia and fantasy. And I think where I ultimately wanted to go with this and talk to you all about was whether these themes of a relationship that exists outside of time, outside of the normal world, is how you feel about that. Because I think do you see the connections that I'm drawing here? They're both they're not grounded, right? They're not, neither one, nostalgia or fantasy, are not constrained by the real world, real stressors, the everyday doldrums, right? So I think there's something really compelling about that to people. I know there's something really compelling about that to me. Interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think what comes to mind real immediately is kind of a twofold. There's escapism and consequentialism. Escapism meaning right now in my life things are probably shit, and so when I look back at what I have done and what I could have done, and in the future, kind of this sense of what I've recently learned through therapy of hollow hope, where I can hope for something to be better. I can hope for something that is better than what I'm living in right now. kind of creates this fantastical energy in the reality that may not be the best. And that's okay. Reality, the day to day to day, might feel like a slog and a trudge through the trenches. But because I have this hope of the future and this nostalgia of the past, the moment and the mindfulness right now means something more. That sounds really like a philosophical essay that I would read or write in undergrad. So apologies.
No, it totally makes sense though, because I think like mindfulness, like living in the moment, being grounded in the often mundane day to day, that's not fun. Like, that's not fantastical or sexy. Like, it's in many ways more appealing to wax nostalgic about what was, or like you talked about, have this, hope for the future that, depending on the person and the time, could border on fantasy. Like, living in the present, you have to be present, which is very uncomfortable a lot of the time.
And I think it speaks a lot to consequentialism, which was, I believe, a philosophy by Anscombe. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to be corrected. But essentially, you do things in your life that the consequence is either positive or negative. And so if we're in those trenches and we want a positive outcome, we're going to think about the memories that gave us positivity or hope for the things that give us positivity. And I don't know. To answer your question, I think this episode of Black Mirror really touches on this because it reflects on the past of these two characters, but also kind of this idealized future that they may not get, but anchor them into reality and the moment that they are in.
So I have a question regarding that, because so whenever, you pass away, they die, they get uploaded to San Junipero, but is that actually them? Or is it like a copy of their consciousness? What is your take on that?
I think that kind of goes back to the core question of who am I? Is it Descartes that said, I think, therefore I am? Mm-hmm. And so is it the physical body that thinks and therefore I am? Or is it the soul, this esoteric, metaphysical, substance that thinks and therefore I am? What is it? And to me, watching the film and with that question in mind, I think it is the desire of these two characters being projected. So therefore, it's not who they are if we look at it from a physical standpoint. But now I'm not going to get any sleep because I'm going to be thinking about this all night, NJ. So thank you.
You're welcome. I like a nice existential crisis now and then.
It keeps you grounded in life. It keeps you mindful.
Sure does. Sure does.
How about you two, though?
What's the question? I already forgot what we were talking about.
Are they the same person that was uploaded to San Junipero? Also, define person, right? Like, there's so many definitions here that we have to dissect, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah, that's difficult because, if you deconstruct everything, we're all just atoms in empty space, right? So how do you take that and put it into a computer algorithm and then it's just kind of spitting you out? I don't know. I
think
I have a hard time with that.
It kind of goes back to, you're an ER doctor. You probably have a lot more experience in this than I do, but is it the body and the soul that makes a person, or is it the soul that makes a person?
I would say the soul.
So what is the soul? Is that sodium and chloride channels in our neurons, or is it something deeper than molecular?
I think it's got to be something deeper than that. I mean, you can go all the way down to like quantum and whatnot, and we need to. I mean, this is a bit. I don't know. We need to be around to observe something to even like make it happen, if that makes sense. Like us watching an event dictates that it's happening. You know, if we're not watching that.
Can I push you?
Yes, please. Push me real good.
I'm gonna push you in the wrong space because I don't know where to find it. Okay, so if we need to experience something to interpret something, is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, it's more it's like a quantum theory thing. Like there has to be an observer for us to see some like an electron move in a certain way. Otherwise, we don't really know what it's doing. It can be anywhere in space.
Sure. So I guess the question is the observer the soul, or is the entropy of the electron the soul?
I would say, I guess, the observer.
So where did the observer come from?
Bro. You're freaking me out, man. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Rae, welcome to the Scream Kings podcast, where we break down life. But I think this is important to ask, especially when we talk about horror. Like, what is horror? It is an experience of something that scares us. But why does it scare us? Because it's an evolutionary response. But why is it an evolutionary response? And blah, 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 blah. So I will shut up and let you two talk now.
I'm having a bit of a crisis now, but
You
yeah.
gave me an existential crisis. I have to return the favor.
Wow. Yeah. All right, so here's my question I'm going to pose to both of you. If this were a legit thing, would you guys do it?
I don't think I would.
Either do I.
I think I'd be happy to like hang out there as a tourist, but I sort of believe when you die you're just gone, and I'm really comforted by that idea. Like I don't know that I want to just be hanging out in a party town for eternity. That sounds really exhausting. I think I'd rather decompose.
I think it depends on the sentience of, do you know you're going back to this party town and can relive things? Because I think it would make you face a lot of like guilt and shame of what could be versus what happened. And I think happiness is being comfortable with your choices that you've made and accepting those. And so going back and like reliving something to me sounds like a bandage rather than therapy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. I'm torn because I'm not certain that we see San Junipero for all that it is. Like, maybe it's not all just a party town. Like, maybe you can, devote yourself to like artistic pursuits, or you can better yourself, learn philosophy, blah blah blah. But in the same vein, it would be like if you have unlimited time to do whatever you want, you'd get very bored of it. It'd be like on The Good Place, where they learn like every language and every instrument, and then you're like, okay, what's next? Like, and if there's nothing that bad that happens there, then what defines good? It's just meh.
Sure, they did not give us that info though, right? So we have to reason with the kind of world they gave us, which is a party town.
I do like a party.
Who doesn't?
Yeah,
me.
Yeah.
But also, Chidi realizing that in the good place and leaving Eleanor will never be okay for me.
Agreed.
Because it destroyed me. So, fuck you, Chidi. You could have learned more. You know everything. You're the worst.
So I guess that would be my con, that I want to know more about San Junipero. Is it just surface party town? Is there more?
And I think it's another important question to ask. Is it a capitalistic business that is running it? Or do you have to pay to get it so poor people can't go to San Junipero?
I imagine you probably have to pay a subscription or something. I mean, it's Black Mirror.
That's fair. Anyway, can I talk about what I didn't like?
Yes.
Don't hate me, y'all. I didn't think this was horror.
No, it's not horror.
No, it's not.
Then why are we talking about it?
Because it's gay.
That's fair. I watched this and I was deeply moved, but I was, if we have to rate it like screams, it would be a -10. And I think this kind of diverges into my thoughts about Black Mirror as a whole. I don't get it.
Well, I'm going to argue with you because we just talked about how we were having existential crises. So, crises, whatever. So, isn't this kind of existential horror in a way?
Or is it not philosophical, like, cognizance?
I don't know.
Well, I think Black Mirror is intended to be sci-fi, and I think that there are episodes that have a lot of horror elements to them, and then episodes that have romantic elements, like this one, and many with very tragic elements.
That is very fair. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I totally agree. This is certainly not horror.
And I think where I'm coming from is this is probably the 6th time that people have said, like, Black Mirror is so spooky and scary, you should watch it. I'm not saying the two of you said that. These are like outside people, my fiance, future husband included. Sorry, Mark.
But I think you bring up a really interesting question, Max, in terms of like what does it mean when something is scary? Because like I noted on here on our little talk sheet that I watched Chernobyl recently, and it got me thinking about this because like I don't know that Chernobyl could be called horror. I think you can make a case for it, but I don't know that that's what it organically is as much, but it's certainly horrifying, right?
Yeah.
And I think lots of genres can evoke feelings of fear and horror that aren't necessarily horror. And I also think horror can evoke lots of other feelings that are not fear.
That is very beautifully said. Thank you, Rae, for stating that.
You should see her prose, dude.
Oh. I think sometimes we put ourselves in a box when it comes to horror media. We're looking for the gore, we're looking for the ghosts, the demons, the this, the that. And I mean, who can argue that what we're living in right now in the United States is not horror, right?
Right.
Or
right. My TikTok feed is horror. Like, let's be clear.
Yeah, right?
And then on the other hand, like when we get into supernatural stuff, especially ghosts, oh God, it's so beautiful in the Haunting of Hill House series when he says a ghost is a wish, right? Like, so to me, like, that's not even like there are subgenres of horror that aren't even intending to evoke fear as much as maybe longing and regret or dread.
So like, yeah, no, that is really good. And Nathaniel and NJ and I have talked a lot about like the genre of horror. And when it came out, it was focused on kind of those core Hollywood classic monsters. Creature of Black Lagoon, Dracula, werewolf, mummy, these like supernatural entities, and I think media has really evolved from that. But we do have to classify it, right, as a horror podcast. We can't take any movie. I mean, we could look at Forrest Gump and claim it is a horror movie because of the dementia and like that terror that is dementia. But does that make it a horror movie?
Well, I would push back on that because I would make the argument that what the horror genre has in common between all the various subgenres is we're answering the question, what am I afraid of?
Mhm.
So sometimes that's really straightforward. I'm afraid of a man with a knife coming into my house and stabbing me 50 times, right? And then that's a slasher. Or I'm super afraid of monsters. Again, super clear-cut horror. But sometimes maybe the horror is I am afraid that I am making the same mistakes over and over again and I will never be able to change. And so like that's the horror that I wrote about and I Can Fix Her. Or, you know, sometimes what I'm really afraid of is that, you know, I will never, you know, throw off the trauma of my past, and then we can get like grief horror and stuff like that, or that I'm really afraid I'll never be able to let this person go. So I think that's why we get such a variety in the emotions that horror can evoke. But I think we know that something is horror when the key component there is what am I afraid of?
I agree. I agree on like philosophical level, but if I take it from a more structured level, from like cinema and literary, and I am not a literary, you know, major at all, so the two of you can shut me down if I need to, but I just read the book Song of Achilles. Madeline Miller wrote a beautiful story about Achilles and his lover Patroclus. And it is about a tragedy, it is about love, it is about one sacrificing themselves for the other. And I think that can be construed as horror, but would we classify that book as a horror literature book? And if we can, why? And if we can't, why?
I think it's difficult because there's a lot of commercial things that kind of go into that. Like, what can you market something as?
For sure. Yeah,
You know?
yeah. But if we're stripping back the marketism, that's not a word, but I'm gonna make it one. I guess pushing back to raise thought, you know, everyone is scared of something different, so why is not everything horror?
Well, I think going back to what you mentioned about the structure being important, there is an expected structure around a horror story. And side note that I think it's really interesting that it very closely aligns with the structure of erotica, which is sort of this mounting feeling that throughout the story we have payoff in small ways. In horror, it's through scary scenes. In erotica, it's through sex scenes, but we are building to a climax, right? I won't apologize for that.
Please do not. I love this metaphor so far.
Where we face the big bad, right? For better or worse. And I think that other genres have different genre expectations in terms of pacing, and I think without even always consciously recognizing it, we are looking for certain elements based on a genre. So if I read a thriller, I'm expecting fast pacing and lots of plot twists, right? If I read horror, I'm expecting initial hints at what this big bad is going to be until it's revealed more and more and more, and we turn up the heat of that fear increasingly until we reach the end of a book. If it's a romance, I expect there to be, right, a meet cute, a flirtation period, like a beginning of a relationship, and then we have, conflicts that get in the way, etc., some back and forth, blah 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 blah. They end up together, everything is great. So I think that's sort of where the structure piece comes in. I haven't read Song of Achilles. I've heard a lot about it, but from everything I've read, I wouldn't say that sounds like it is following the conventions of the horror genre. But again, haven't read it.
Okay. So I guess my point here is horror is a label that is put on a structure that follows an ABC XYZ kind of formula.
Broadly speaking, right? Like, not all horror will follow that formula, but I think.
But not all adventure, not all romance is going to follow the same structure.
Exactly. And I think at the end of the day, it is impossible to extricate genre from marketing, because brass tacks, we talk about genre so that people know which section of the bookstore to go shop in. You know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
So,
And this kind of a discussion, I think, is really cool, because we're taking these labels and breaking them down and making them relevant to human stories, right? What horror is to someone is going to be different from what romance is to someone else. Thank you both for your insight and your pushback even. I think that makes a really good conversation. So appreciate it.
Yeah. You guys are very well spoken. I love it. I love it.
I don't know about that. Let's blame the vodka, but okay.
Is that in a martini? I thought that was supposed to be gin.
Is it gin in a martini?
I think there are vodka martinis, but I don't drink, so.
Everyone, it's vodka.
I just don't like martini glasses. Like, I think that it's supposed to be gin. I just Googled it, but it can be vodka too, so fine, whatever.
Rae, you also mentioned the Hotel Reverie?
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 Reverie? I don't know. Do you mind giving us a quick plot synopsis? We can maybe take a shorter route. I imagine the themes are going to be pretty similar here.
Okay, short synopsis. Bearing in mind, I have a bad memory and I saw this a couple weeks ago already. So, NJ, please pull me up if I take a wrong turn. Okay, Issa Rae, incredible, impeccable icon, plays an actress, a very successful actress who has been employed to star in a recreation of a classic film. Issa doesn't realize until arriving on set that they're not shooting the movie in the traditional way, but they're actually going to hook her up to, again, this sort of virtual world where the movie is playing out in 3D tangibly all around her, and she is supposed to just say her lines, and the characters have what is, I think, a question mark amount of sentience. And so she's supposed to kind of just interact with them as if they are real people, but saying her lines in order to recreate the movie. And then things go awry when there is a technical malfunction, and Issa Rae's character, Issa is playing Brandy / Dr. Alex Parker, becomes stuck in the old movie world and falls in love with the star of the old film, Dorothy, playing Clara in the movie.
Girl, you got a memory like a steel trap. I love it.
I was gonna say, no negative self-talk. That was awesome.
Thanks. Maybe my brain works better for gay stuff.
Those are the files that are at the front of the
right. We're prioritizing.
Story of all three of our lives.
Right. I feel like this one isn't as, like, I don't know. It's not as philosophical as San Junipero. I think it's more so kind of fun. Obviously there is kind of the the sad parts in which you find out that Dorothy, who plays Clara, she ends up overdosing and dying, and there's kind of hints that her personal life was talked about and whatnot, and you find out that she liked women, and I'm not certain if she ever even acted on it or not, because there's just kind of some longing looks between the woman that does the, what is that? Take one,
No.
What's that thing?
Sorry, I blinked. Can you do that again?
Take one.
I blinked again. Do it one more time.
I hate you.
And yet you're here.
Yeah.
So I would love to ask you both a question. Why do you think that it is, or do you think that it is, that there seems to be between both of these episodes a very real human desire or thought that we must escape from the real world in order to find true love, or to experience love in the way that we want to experience it?
I think probably, especially in this, right, that this took place in the 1940s, there's a lot of societal expectations that place a lot of emphasis on what you can truly enjoy or not. So in an idealized world, yeah, sure, we would be able to pursue life and love in the way that we want, but that's not the world that we live in. So we have this escapism that we see in both of these episodes. But yeah, I don't know. I think probably just because society sucks.
I totally agree that the queerness plays a role here, but I've noticed this in straight films too. So, for example, like The Time Traveler's Wife does this in a way where we need to like break from time in order to be with the person that we're supposed to be with. And like I'm sure there are other examples. I think you could make an argument that The Notebook plays with time and memory in order to tell you a really romantic love story. And okay, take this with a grain of salt, understanding that not only am I wearing a silk robe, but I am coming off my second divorce, and I'm speaking to you now as a double divorcee.
Hey, girl, I get it. Preach.
Are we so dissatisfied with the real life experience of relationships that there is a temptation to believe that the love that we deeply seek could only be found in some sort of fantasy or some sort of reality that is separate from our own?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think this question, I mean, there's an evolutionary component, I think, to it, and there's also a philosophical. Evolutionarily, what is sex and what is romance? I can orgasm to something, but that does not make me fall in love with something. And when I fall in love with something, I think the dopamine and the oxytocin only last for so long. And so when we view media that is kind of harkening back to that surge, especially of oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone, it kind of creates this unrealistic fantasy and this longing for that hormonal surge, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have that evolutionary standpoint, but then we also have the philosophical view of, don't get me started, but I think the Judeo, Christian idea of monogamy is the only way to achieve happiness. And if you do not do monogamy, then you're doomed. And so we have this pressure, kind of what NJ was saying, of I have to live this way, but our body and our morality and our ethics that are internal are speaking to something that maybe we don't want, but we're pushing against the societal concern And it's kind of a mind fuck, which is why I really appreciate like kink and fetish cultures, because people are accepting that and are able to brave the uncertain and the unconventional, which is almost more romantic than, you know, the Notebook scenario of, oh, I wish for a better time when A, B, and C would have loved me more. That's just kind of how I interpret it. I do not want to like enforce the idea that monogamy is bad, because, you know, Nathaniel, you're listening to this, and you and your wife are some of the greatest monogamistic individuals I know. But I think human nature and human biology is so much more nuanced than we let ourselves be. And not everyone is able to fit that norm. And the societal pressure that has been placed upon us is suffocating.
Yeah, I heard a really fantastic explanation on some of this from Esther Perel. She's a really well-known therapist.
I love Esther Perel.
Oh, she's incredible.
Jesus Christ, she's so good.
But she talks about desire being the absence of something, right? And talks about how, when do romance novels end? Well, they end when the couple gets together, because that's when desire ends, because you have the thing, right? And you cannot long for what is in your possession. And a major component of desire is longing. So I wonder in some ways if, kind of getting back to what you just said, Max, we set ourselves up to fail when our idea and what we're fed, you know, the image of a successful relationship is that this person is, right, like everything, your partner, your best friend, your co-parent, your, you know, partner in chores, and, you know, this sexual entity that you just crave without end for the rest of your life. I don't know that that is reasonable. Like, for me personally, like I'm a monogamous person, but I see sort of the flaw in the plan here, right? That like,
well, and monogamy can mean many different things to other people, right? Like, is monogamy a sexual loyalty or is it a romantic loyalty? It is something that can be defined by the couple that is experiencing it. And you bring up a really good point, I think, when you're talking about like setting ourselves up for expectations of that level of communications. We are cognizant human beings, and if we are discussing these very important romantic issues with one another, we are the authors of how that romantic experience is fulfilled. And, you know, Pride and Prejudice, let's talk about these rom-coms. We don't ever see 10 years down the future, right? Does Mr. Darcy and what's-her-face make it? We don't want to know that, because the oxytocin and the dopamine are so exciting in the moment. But do they make it? Does Mr. Darcy cheat? Does he, you know, die? Does she continue to have a romantic life outside of him? And so this idealized romance that Adam and Eve, I think, taught us in some component, it's more nuanced. It's not black and white.
yeah. So sorry, I just want to tie us back to our our Black Mirror.
We're gonna have to publish this episode under like theology and philosophy.
I think like that's what stuck out to me most when I was thinking about these two episodes of how this theme of like a relationship outside of time or outside of reality is so frequent. It frequently pops up, especially in queer media, but also I think in straight media. And I wonder if it is born out of this sort of dissatisfaction, right, with like the reality of a long-term relationship.
And going back to Yorkie, you know, she's in this kind of a time loop. You know, I can't remember it. Junipero, Gennaro. Would it get old? Would she get tired with what she was experiencing, and should she, refocus on something else? And how does that affect the story and what the theme was trying to say?
I think a lot of it ties back to like what you guys were saying about mindfulness and just living in the moment. Humans have a very hard time doing that, and it's that very Buddhist thing that we cause our own suffering because we're grasping at things and hoping and idealizing things. I think that if we maybe concentrated on that a little bit more, maybe these things wouldn't be such issues and we wouldn't have fiction that is like this. But I mean, God bless us for doing it because it gives us stuff to talking about, but
I think the term here is romantic fiction, right? Like, I have a wonderful fiance who I adore, but our day-to-day is very mundane, and that's okay. That is beautiful, that is powerful, that is romance.
Mm-hmm.
And media is a way to escape, and I'm not trying to say that it's negative or it's bad, but we just have to stay mindful, like you said, NJ, of the gratitude and happiness that is realistic and not
glorified.
fantastical.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Peace is often not poison, if that makes sense. I would rather have peace and stability than chaos and poison.
Absolutely.
So, again, we're going to have to post this episode under religion and philosophy. Jesus.
I'm going to just lay in bed tonight and just stare at the ceiling and just...
Rae, are you sure you want to be a queen of screams after this episode?
Yeah. No, this is the stuff that I love. Like, I'm not a person who seeks out like slasher types of horror or like monster types of horror particularly. Like, the media that interests me generally really asks questions about what it means to be a person in the world and how hard that is in different ways. So I love this kind of stuff.
That's beautiful. And thank you for indulging our sarcasm and our vulgarity, because that is how we live.
That's also how I live.
NJ, I don't know how we should do our crowns and our screams here.
See, I don't know, because I took the screams out entirely because it's if it's scary, it's more of an existential scary. So I'm gonna just omit those for now. How's that sound?
Yeah, everyone should watch Black Mirror, even though Max is not sold yet after his 6th time trying. I think I'm just going to keep watching when our guests say, I want to talk about this episode, and I'll go from there.
I think you're missing out. There are several episodes, especially in this new season, that are fantastic. Rae and I were talking about, what was it? Common People?
Is that episode 1 with Rashida Jones?
I think so.
Okay, I've seen that one, and I'm just going to say the same thing, like...
You're just really starting to piss me off, Max. Okay, what about Eulogy? Did you see Eulogy?
Which one is that?
Where this man gets the card or whatever from the eulogy company, and he's trying to remember these memories and whatnot of an old romance, and it kind of takes you through their relationship from his view, and you see it's not as one-sided as he thinks. It's heartbreaking. That one fucked me up, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I get it. I just am not. I would rather watch something a little bit more horror, I guess.
I want to see guts.
I want to see demons. I want to see penis. I want to see. I don't know. I've been obsessed with the creep tapes, which I think are much more horror than Black Mirror. But I will shut up because people are gonna hate us for this.
All right. Well, to go with crowns then. I am giving San Junipero a 10. I absolutely love it. I get more out of it on every rewatch that I do. I think it's a beautiful love story, a beautiful commentary on, you know, what our life is going to become potentially as technology advances. And I find it to be extremely thought-provoking, as we have proved here.
Yeah, I agree. If we're approaching this like from a cinematic point of view, 8.5, 9. The storytelling and the acting and the cinematography and the music and just the plot, incredible and poetic and beautiful.
I gave it a 9. I agree with everything y'all said, but I am holding back a point because I reserve 10s for hornier media.
Rae, I have never given a 10, and NJ and Nathaniel always harass me about holding my 10s. So thank you.
Stingy. I mean, we didn't dive into Hotel Reverie to the point that it deserved, but I think it's also just a very hard. San Junipero's hard to follow up. It is. It just is. But I'm gonna give Hotel Reverie an 8. And a lot of that 8, honestly, is Aquafina, because I fucking love Aquafina. Shut up, Max. You don't like Aquafina?
No, I love Aquafina. I was just gonna say they're wonderful.
Okay, good.
You bitch.
I heard your groan. It made me upset.
I'm gonna give it a 7. Again, phenomenal film. But after watching San Junipero, whatever it's called, I don't know why I can't remember the name. It did feel a little like, So, that is all. I think if I watched it a year from now, it would be different.
I gave it a 9.5 because I thought it was really clever and difficult to pull off the blending of a 1940s film with the futuristic sci-fi elements that they did. And I thought that they did pull it off in a really interesting way. So I'm going to give it a 9.5 for difficulty points. And also it was hornier than Sam.
You got close to a 10, and I was about to rescind everything I had just said. Oh.
Hornier. We need like a boner scale or something on this.
Oh, yeah. Crowns, screams, and bones.
We'll think about that. We'll add that. I like that.
All right. Cool. How are you all staying spooky? Rae, I'm going to ask you first.
So I just rewatched the Chernobyl series on HBO Max. Absolutely devastating real life horrors of the nuclear accident at the Chernobyl power plant in the Soviet Union. And I think it's such a triumph that the people in the writing room said, let's make the pilot the most miserable thing anyone's ever seen in their life, and then let's make it worse every single episode. And they absolutely nailed it. They nailed it. It's despair on a scale not previously known to man.
We have talked a lot of philosophy tonight, so I won't push this, but why do we love despair?
Me?
No, humans in general. Chernobyl has done so well, and there's so many other films that lean into the despair.
I think it makes us feel better about what's happening now. Like, you're like, oh, it could be worse. We could be in a nuclear power plant that exploded.
100% relate to that, so yes.
I think there's that, and I think we also are just addicted to feeling. And I think it's just a really emotionally resonant thing, despair.
I like that better. NJ, you're fired. Rae, you're the new NJ.
Yay!
I knew I was getting beat the host of this podcast.
Can I be like Salacious Crumb from Star Wars? Like I could just like sit on Rae and just laugh. You know.
Perfect.
No.
Oh my god. Why not?
It's fine, NJ. I'll hire you as a subcontractor.
Thank you.
That I run the Scream Kings podcast. I've promoted myself from host.
I was gonna say
guest
you're like
to host to
you're like
showrunner.
co-host to
Dictator of the Scream Kings.
Autocrat. Yeah.
I love it. Honestly, you'd probably do better. NJ, what about you? How are you staying spooky?
I am currently making my way through an anthology called American Cannibal. And obviously every story has a cannibalism bent to it, but
Yeah, I was gonna ask, you and cannibalism have been very intimate lately. What's going on? Are you okay?
I mean, I think so. But I mean, have you seen Fresh? Like, you guys have seen that movie?
I love that movie so much.
Did that not make you want to try a human meatball or no?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Nope,
well.
you're alone in that. And I'm calling the cops.
Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to Mark and be like, hey, sweetheart, I don't know if I can do this anymore because NJ said I would like to try a human meatball without saying I want to try a human meatball.
What's really scary, NJ, is like I feel like you have the knowledge of human anatomy to like execute on this plan.
Also, I've been
true.
watching a lot of the HBO Pit, which is like an ER drama, and they could totally get meat and make a meatball. So I don't trust you ever again. You're fired, Rae. Welcome to the Scream Kings. Okay, but also I'm curious. Tell me more.
About the human meatball, or
Yes.
No, I'm not gonna go there. But I have tried Wagyu, and I imagine it's probably like that.
No, but more. Yeah, I think that's what they've said. I think Jeffrey Dahmer said that.
I don't remember. I think I heard it on last podcast on the left, but I don't remember where that came from. Could have been Dahmer.
I don't love that we're referencing Jeffrey Dahmer's experience with cannibalism on this podcast.
Talk about another devastating series.
Oh my god, don't get us started. I have forbid Mark from saying, I want to take some pictures. It's just icky and gross, and I don't like it.
Speaking of devastating, I didn't put it on the show notes, but I recently watched the documentary about the Oklahoma City bombing on Netflix.
Oh my god, I just finished a book about it, and I haven't started the Netflix episode, or series, excuse me, but whoa, why do we not know more about this?
Yeah. Well, and I remember seeing it on TV, but like, you know, you're a child, so you don't understand like the devastation and like what plays into it and whatnot. And
how many children died?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I didn't know that until I watched the documentary. I guess I didn't really know anything about it except that it happened, but
same until I read the book. I was shocked.
Yeah. In the documentary, there's a guy that is an ER doctor, but he was, I think, in his third year of residency, and he was near there when it happened. He talks about like doing mass casualty and whatnot, and it's very, very sad.
Ugh.
brutal. Well, good night, everybody.
Hey, I haven't talked about what I'm doing to stay spooky. Last of Us, the second season, has dropped on HBO with Pedro Pascal and the girl from Game of Thrones. I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name, but
Non-binary person.
Oh my god, really? I
And
am
now,
so sorry.
unfortunately, Max, you're fired, and I'm doing Spring
Ah!
Kings on my own.
I am so sorry if you're listening.
And what is their name? Is it? Oh gosh, now I'm drawing a blank.
I know, I can't think of
Yeah.
it either.
I'm looking it up right now. Bella Ramsey.
Yes.
Bella Ramsey, please don't hate me. I love you. You're phenomenal. And Rae is a liar. The other thing that I am doing to stay spooky is my sweet daughter of 10 years old went to go find me a birthday present with Mark. And what she chose out was this coloring book that is called Survive the Night, which is a choose your own path serial killer coloring book. And the fact that she knew that and knows that that is what I would love just brings me so much happiness. So thank you, sweetheart. Love you.
Aww.
She'll probably listen to this when she's 30 and be like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe don't let her listen to this one. I talked about being horny like a lot.
Okay, so Rae, you're fired.
Okay,
Nathaniel is
that's fair.
fired. Jay is fired.
I'm back. I got hired back.
No, I didn't say that. Everyone, if you have made it to this point, you are a phenomenal human being and you deserve a gold star. Thank you so much.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky!